Hi, Closeteers. Hello, hello. So, I am outside. I was going to get in the swimming pool today, but I am anemic, and the pool needs to be a little warmer than normal for me. So, thank you, son. So, thank you. So, I had to put the solar cover on, and I guess I go swimming tomorrow because swimming today. Don't sit there, flip it on the other side. I don't want you to fall in the pool. Oh, okay. Sorry. My son is sitting off camera because I um I just wanted to talk to you guys. Right? I really want to ask questions. I wish I was live with y'all because I want to know, how do you feel about the current racial atmosphere? And y'all forgive me. What do you think can be done to better? What do you think can be done, if anything, to better race relations? I don't care what side of the fence you're on. There's a necessary conversation in America that must be had. There can be no kumbaya. There can be no forgiveness until so many things are addressed. America, or some Americans, would like to believe that the problems with slavery and racism ended when slavery ended, which we know is not true because then there wouldn't have been any lynchings. On into the 1900s, there wouldn't have been any segregation or a need to desegregate. There wouldn't have been any Jim Crow laws, hence segregation. Redlining. None of those things would have existed if everything was fine after slavery ended. Or I won't ever say slavery ended because to me, in my opinion, and if you disagree with me, let me know and let me know why. Because in my opinion, the prison industry is modern day slavery. So I would never say slavery ended for that reason. But I think it's foolish on either side to believe that things were solved with the ending of slavery. Because again, there would have been no need for civil rights movements in the 1900s after we did this in the 1800s, right? Um, there would be no need to ask for anti-lynching bills. I don't understand. The Constitution is the Constitution, and the Constitution should apply to anyone that is an American citizen. Anyone. So, with that being said, if the Constitution was true, because nowhere in the Constitution does it say white, black, Asian, Latino, Latina. It says nothing of that kind, right? It just, we the people. It talks about the people. So It talks about the rights of the United States citizens. So the very fact that we need anti-lynching bills, the very fact that we need civil rights bills, voting rights bills, is proof that the very people who claim to be patriots and stand by the Constitution do not believe what they're reading, or they believe it applies to white people only, and that white people only are the citizens of the United States, which to me is funny as hell. That's funny as hell, because this land don't even belong to you. You stole it, truth be told. Then you stole your labor, your laborers. You stole them, forced them into slavery, had them build this magnificent, wonderful, beautiful country that is America, and then treat them like second-class citizens. We'll tell them, quick, go back to Africa, when you know your ass lying. You don't no more want us to go back to Africa than those of us that have never been, that knows nothing about the land, want to go. I'm talking to live permanently. I want to visit, and I believe every person, every black person should visit, because you know that there's two things you know. One, the American economy could not exist, could not sustain without black people. Truest thing ever heard, ever said. And two, racism is profitability. Period. Pitting us against one another is profit. And if it wasn't so, Lyndon B. Johnson would not have felt the need to declare that if you make the lowest white man feel better than the highest black man, you could pick his pocket, stuff like that, all that stuff. J. Edgar Hoover wouldn't have felt the need to say the most dangerous thing in America is the united Negro, because as a united people, we would spend our money with one another. Black businesses would flourish. Therefore, black people would flourish as a united people. I've said this on many videos over and over again. Black people spend $1.2 trillion retail yearly. That money only stays in the black community for 7 hours, I believe. 7 seconds, 7 hours, something like that. Now us, going back to Africa, we would take that money, and not only would we take that money, our money would stay in our community longer, because then we would begin to be manufacturers, builders. We would self-sustain. And you guys know that. And let me tell you how I know you know it. Because the government knows it, and racist or prejudiced white people know it as well. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't destroy our communities when we make them self-sufficient. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, so many places, Philadelphia, so many places. They would not feel the need. Seneca Falls, which the Central Park in New York is built on, and they use eminent domain. Bruce Beach in California, part of Manhattan Beach, they're talking about giving it back to the family now. I believe it's worth $75 million. Black couple bought a piece of land on the beach because the beaches were private, and so black people could not go to the beach. So they bought a plot of land and made it for black people, like resort, so to speak, for black people. And the government utilized eminent domain to put them off of their land. Why? I just find it amazing. I find it amazing. And I find it amazing that you guys want us to kumbaya. You want us to get over it. You tell us it so long ago, which is a bunch of bullshit. I'm trying to figure out, how is it you ultra conservatives can fly the Confederate flag? Y'all lost. You do know that, right? You lost. And you lost with the help of black people. South couldn't have been beat without us. So you're treasonous because you're flying a flag of our enemies, even though it's the battle flag. You're flying a flag of our enemies while calling yourself true patriots, which I want to know what the hell that means. Does it mean true white, true supremacists, or wannabe supremacists? Because you don't outnumber us. So I will not be fed the minority bullshit. So you do all that. War was fought, what, from 1863 to 1865? You do all that. I may be wrong on that. It may have been before 63, but I know from 63 through 65 it was going on. And you refuse to put down your Confederate beliefs, your Confederate flag, your racist and prejudiced behavior and beliefs from more than 200 years ago. You had the damn nerves to tell us to get over slavery as if as soon as slavery ended, things were kumbaya. You have practiced under systematic racism from the beginning, and you tell us to get over it. The 70s was not that long ago. Redlining in the 70s. You did everything you could so we couldn't get bank loans for homes. You did everything you could to force us into ghettos, or what you call ghettos. You did everything you could to hold us down. And every time you called yourself holding us down, we flourished. We are a resilient people. And we're not going anywhere. Because this is our land. This is our land. Why? Because we tilled the land. We turned over the dirt. We built the buildings. We built the economy. So this is our land. Now, the original rightful people of the land are the natives. But I don't believe for one moment that they wouldn't understand what we mean when we say this is our land. But for whatever reason, the original owners of the land, the original people of the land, let me say it like that, see the contributions of the black man and the black woman to the land, to the economy, to the community. And the white man, who's kind of in between the whole situation, who colonized, who brutalized, who continues to practice cultural appropriation from both sides, from both people, from the natives as well as the black people. You seem to have the biggest problem, but it's amazing. If you ask Mexico, if you ask Africa, if you ask those that worked on the railroad, the Asians that worked on the railroad, if you ask the natives whose land this is, the original landowners or the original people of the land, if you ask the Japanese who lived in internment camps. If you ask any of us who the problem is, white people, you are the common denominator. You are the common denominator. You stole land, you stole culture, you stole people, you stole language, you have stolen religion, and you have appropriated so much. You have looted these lands, then you build these museums, and you put these artifacts that you have looted into these museums, and you charge people most of the time to see these lands. I mean, these artifacts. You are the thieves. You are the looters. You are the murderers. You are the rapists. You are the colonizers. I don't care how much rape goes on in cultures. No one could top what the white man has done when it comes to rape. No one can top it outside of you doing it to one another, what you've done to every other culture that you've encountered. And you want us to kumbaya. You act like we owe you something. You act like we need your permission to be us. You act like we need your permission to live without you. You act like we need your permission to state our truths to you. And then when we state our truths to you, you refuse to accept them. And then you call us mean. And then you start saying we're racist. Or you start with your microaggressions and your gaslighting. Almost immediately. And you love to call black women angry or aggressive because we're assertive. Maybe even loud, because I know I am. Those are microaggressions. That's what they are, and gaslighting. And we're not having it anymore. We're not going anywhere. Can you see us? Can you hear us? We're not going anywhere. And we are demanding. We're no longer asking. We're demanding. And you guys are afraid. But here's what I would recommend. Instead of acting out on your fear or answering our boundaries that we set with aggression and violence, sit down and talk to one another. Sit down and talk to one another. Accept what you've done wrong. I don't care. Don't tell me it was your ancestors, because you are a direct beneficiary of everything that was done. So don't come at me with that one, because you're benefiting right now today because of everything that was done. Have conversations with one another. Have think tanks. Y'all love those. And figure out how to approach us. I could help you, but it's not for me to check you. It's for you to check you. Listen to us to hear us, not to respond, not to compare and contrast, but to hear us. And based on what you're hearing, make changes. Make changes. Yes, I will talk about this again. I'm about to finish enjoying my day. I just wanted to make sure to come and say what I'm saying. You could leave comments, you could send questions, you could send disagreements. Here's what I caution you. If you disagree with anything that I said, please just don't disagree for the sake of disagreeing. Please back it up with facts, or just with your mind and why you feel the way you feel, because it could just be a real misunderstanding, or it could just be an unwillingness to change. Thank you, Closeteers. Please remember to click like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe.